Hi, this is Dr. Ted CIbik again with another podcast that we're going to be doing. And today I want to do something a little bit different. I want to explain a little bit of how I work in Chinese medicine and how there is an integrative aspect to what I do. Now, what I do is classical Chinese medicine, which is vastly different than traditional Chinese medicine or TCM. And I work with an ancient school called the Butu Pai School. And that school is basically the school of naturalism. So I'm kind of like a naturopath, but it's actually along the lines of following Chinese medicine, classical Chinese medicine, which means, very importantly, the vast difference is all the spiritual connotations we're taking out in TCM. So all the references to the spirit were taken out, and along with that, a lot of the emotional aspects that can come into healing, because we look at healing as comprised of three different things, and we're going to talk about those. And the Tao is called the three Dan Tians, which looks like a snowman here, I realize, but this is what we call the Jing level, or the flesh, or the embodiment. This is the Qi level, which is the energy level. And then there's the Shen level, which is bad translation. It's actually called the spirit, but not really exactly. So I'm going to start down here. This is the flesh, and this is where everybody thinks about when they're coming to get healed. They want their body to function better. They want to get rid of their cancer. They want to get rid of their tumor. They want to get rid of their pain, their inflammation, their IBS, whatever it is. But these other systems are also interconnected with this, because the one common denominator that they all have is all of these are attached to blood. And blood, as we all know, if it doesn't touch a particular part of the body, you go through necrosis and it dies. And so the blood is critical. The blood is basically holding and transporting these three energies of spirit, Shen, Qi, and Jing. And basically, for anything to heal in the body, you have to have these three things in good communication. And that's the difference, I believe, in some of my healing therapies and my healing ideas, is I always integrate these three things together, working with the blood specifically. So sometimes I have to build the blood, sometimes I have to detox what's in the blood, or you might want to think of the lymphatic system. Sometimes I basically have to rebuild the flesh down here, or you could actually think of this lower Dan Tian as the other thing that would be, which is actually the microbiome or the enteric nervous system. You'll hear those terms thrown out a lot. And a lot of times I have to rebuild the microbiome in order for the rest of the body, speaking and talking in the blood, to actually heal. And that's a big part of my practice, is using food as medicine, and then all the Chinese herbs and naturopathic herbs that are available now. So we have a unique time in history when so many things are available for healing. The tricky part now is we have all this availability, but in what ratios and what packages and what combinations. So it's not a matter of which is good and which is bad. It's sometimes what the body can handle at that particular time, what it's going to need, and to stair-step the building process in such a way that one feeds into the other. So sometimes I have to start off and detox the body at the Jing level, and then sometimes I basically could start in building the blood or the Qi. That's where the assessment comes in and what I do. And that becomes one of the, I think, one of the greatest tools that we have in using energetics. Energetics are combining all three of these together, not just the physical body. So when you get an MRI or you get blood work, they're just looking at the physical body. I want to also look at the vitality of the Qi and the power of the spirit, or say belief system, or say divine nature, okay? And so when we're looking at all three of these, we're really looking at how can my spirituality actually assist in my healing? How can my thoughts and my energy of thoughts heal or contribute to the healing in the flesh. And I consider all of those because those are the attitudes that you bring. That's your faith. That is your ability to make a connection to deeper parts within you that in my, I don't know how long, 30 years now, been doing work as a naturopath. The attitude, the mindset, how you bring that to the healing process is just important as the newest, latest, supplement that you put into your body. Because those thoughts are the very thing that are running in your blood. See, thoughts run in the blood, and they affect the blood, which means they affect all three of these things. And if you don't take that into consideration and get your head right, then it's going to be very difficult to heal, especially if you're trying to heal from something that is autoimmune related, or it's cancer related, or if in fact it's a long string of illnesses. You have to take a look at the whole package. Because if I was going to have somebody go to a doctor or anything, and they only addressed 1/3 of the healing process, obviously 2/3 is missing. And that's one of the things that I try to do. Now, this isn't any religion, this isn't anything like this. Just believing that in fact my divine nature, my ability to connect with nature and all things in nature, the universe itself as well as this planet and all of these things, and what I believe to be true about this world and about my divine nature, if you will, or about some other words, the ability for me to connect with a higher power, the ability for me to connect with divinity or God or Buddha or whoever you believe in. It doesn't matter what the words you say. It's that ability to connect when you're alone with your mind at night. That is what really sparks healing. That belief system. This is the thing that gets people all on the right track. Everything's pointing in the right way in order to facilitate the healing. So this has been a very quick introduction of what we call the three dantians, the common denominator of blood, how these are actually felt on an energetic platform. So on the flesh level, a lot of times people will feel this as heat. So in Qigong and Tai Chi Chuan and those kind of different things, a lot of times this will be felt as heat first. This is vibration. So that you can actually begin to feel the vibration. And this is the level that I work on when I do my powerlifting and I do my weight training and my other exercise. I work on the chi level, not so much the flesh level. And then the spirit is I'm doing all these things while I'm embodied to basically take care and nourish my spirit, which then nourishes everything else in the body. So it's the Jing talks about all disturbances in the body are Shen based. And so it's a trickle down effect. If I get this right, and if I get this right, then this is going to get right. So that's a real brief introduction to a very complicated subject. I hope that in fact you think about it. I hope that perhaps you ask some questions and maybe you start to integrate some of these things into your mindfulness practice of healing, because we're all on a healing journey. As Ram Dass says, we're all walking home. So I think that, in fact, this is a good model. I think it is applicable to the 21st century. And if this interests you, please contact me. My name is Dr. Ted CIbik, and this has been another podcast. Thank you.